Yo, what to do, YouTube? It's your boy ColtsTalk. We are back with another video. And today we're going to be talking about the Indianapolis Colts versus the Los Angeles Rams. This should be an interesting one. Week 4 preview. You guys, before we get into it, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate each and every one of your support moving forward. I really do. But go ahead and comment your score predictions as well. Last week, we played the Baltimore Ravens. I gave you guys a preview. I predicted the Colts to win. Ravens fans trolled me. And then Sunday happened, and the Colts wound up winning, and they went silent. So let's go ahead and continue and do something like that again this week. Hopefully, my predictions are correct again moving forward, and we shall see how it goes. So, starting things off, let's talking about the Rams defense. I think the Rams defense, the edge, the pretty much the D line is still intact of what they used to be, a shell of themselves. Any D line with Aaron Donald on it is definitely a threat. That's no slander towards the Rams at all, but I think Aaron Donald is just that good of a talent. So whenever you have him in your jersey on your team, you got to be careful moving forward. So I think the pressure rate when it comes to the Colts is still something. So we have to see how it is moving forward. But the Colts definitely have to be careful when it comes to the pressure from the Rams defensive line. Other than that, I do still think, the right side of the Colts offensive line with Braden Smith on it is something to be worried about. He's not had the greatest season so far, so that could be a weak spot that the Rams could try to target and to attack Anthony Richardson or Gardner Minshew, who's ever at quarterback moving forward. I'm pretty sure it's going to be clear cut that Anthony Richardson will play this week. So definitely will have to look into the offensive line for the right hand side for the Colts. That could be a weak spot that the Rams could attack with Sean McVay and those guys and that defense. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to drop a scheme to try to go ahead and put pressure on Anthony Richardson or Gardner Minshew. When it comes to the secondary, they definitely took a step down, in my opinion. They still got they still got Johnson and those guys back there, but it's not, a shell of themselves or what they used to be. And like I said, this is no slander or anything of that nature, but the Rams defense that we're used to seeing is just not that anymore. They don't brace that impact. They don't really put that fear in you anymore like they used to. So I definitely think when it comes to the pass game for the Colts, they could figure something out and get things going, very sooner than later. So that could be something if the pass rush, does not, get Anthony Richardson, off his tempo or, off his game. I definitely think the Colts could win in through the air. I definitely do. So the secondary did take a hit these last few seasons. So I do think that could be a point of interest for the Colts offense moving forward. Like I said, the Rams defense when it comes to pressures, I definitely think it could be there this upcoming Sunday in the matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. But when it comes to getting the pass off, I do definitely think the Colts could win out of that moving forward. And now we're going to move to the Rams offense. My predictions for that. Matthew Stafford, it isn't the Stafford that we're used to seeing. I do think he's still a threat. I do think he can still air it out, but he's not, the guy that's going to be slinging it down the field, 50-yard like bombs down the field. I do think he can dink and dunk his way to success. I definitely think he's pretty good at that, getting those passes off very quick and rapidly. He got some targets. He does not have Cooper Kupp this season, which is unfortunate. But he did find some success in Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell. He still got Higbee. I do think those targets could be, his favorable targets this upcoming week. So, like I said, he does have some moments where he can step up in the pocket and launch it down the field for maybe 30 yards or more. But most of those, high success rates can be, those yards after catch. I definitely think if he finds someone in the middle of the field, when he finds a zone and he gets someone out of their spots, he can just pretty much pick you apart. Stafford's a smart quarterback. Of course, he's not what he used to be. The offensive line of protection isn't what it's supposed to be. So we're gonna have to. The Colts defense is gonna have to put some pressure on him. If not, he will pick you apart. So that's definitely something we have to look forward to watching going into this week. Is putting pressure on Matthew Stafford to get him off his game. Of course, he can create out of the pocket as well. But if you have a moving Stafford in the game, I think you can take your chances, with that. So I do not want Stafford to be comfortable at all this week The Colts have been pretty good at putting pressure on quarterbacks all year. They put pressure on Stroud. They put pressure on Trevor. They put pressure on Lamar. And they're going to have to continue to do that. And I think they'll have another successful week by putting pressure on Stafford. But again, this could be one of those games where he could just figure it out and the Rams offense just clicks. I think that's the strongest part of their team besides Aaron Donald and those guys. I think the offense is definitely the strongest factor because they do have a guy like Stafford and a brilliant mind of a head coach in Sean McVay. So I do definitely think the offense is going to be the biggest worry moving forward. But switching to the Colts offense with Zach Moss, the run protection, that is a big question going into this game. They've been improving week by week, and Zach Moss had a good game last week against the Ravens, and that was one of the teams that was pretty good on stopping the run, in my opinion. So I do think that'll be something to see moving forward. How can Zach Moss play against this Rams defense? I do think if you find Zach Moss and he's available, he will make the other team pay. So I do think watching Zach Moss creating a run game to balance the tempo of the offense will be something to look at. Going into this Rams team. But if we do have a guy like Anthony Richardson, that just makes everything a little bit easier. Easier because he can make plays with his legs. He's very mobile. He's athletic. He has an arm, so if he has to step out of the pocket to get away, he can do something, create something out of nothing. So the run game is definitely something that is very important this week because it sets you up. It sets you up for success moving forward down the field, and it keeps the defense off edge. So I do think, having a guy like Anthony Richardson and a Ryan Kelly come back is definitely something that's going to give the advantage to the Indianapolis Colts because we've seen how unstoppable Anthony Richardson almost looked when he played against the Texans. And of course, people might say, oh, it was the Texans. That's not really saying much. It's still the beginning of the year. The Texans gave the Ravens fits. They gave us fits. And, the Texans, you can't sleep on them because they have a pretty decent defense. They got a good edge rush as well, in my opinion. Their D-line is pretty nice. So I will give them their flowers where it's due. So when it comes to, just creating, I think when it comes to RPO schemes and the design runs for Anthony Richardson, having Zach Moss be available in the receiving game and in the run game, that just boosts you. So I do think, that's going to be something to look forward to is how can you create with Anthony Richardson on the field against this Ram defense. And then, getting the tight ends involved, this could be a game for Josh Downs, in my opinion, or Alec Pierce. I think they can have a big game. Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be a target for sure. But these guys have been quiet so far this year. I think they can have a big game against the Rams, knowing that their secondary is pretty much beat and they're not as good as they used to be. So I definitely think this could be a big game for them. Coming down to score predictions, we pretty much know special teams is going to be hitting on all cylinders. This is not just Matt Gay related. I think the kickoff team, I think all of these guys, even punts, the punt return team, I think they're going to have a big week. So when it comes to score predictions, I do think the Rams offense still didn't find their identity yet. Hopefully they don't find it this week. So it's going to come down to a lot of field goals. I think they will find the end zone eventually, but I do think the Rams are going to put up 13 points. But the Colts, I just think their defense is going to be on fire again this week. Shout out to that linebacker group, man. Julius Brent had a good debut. I think he could have another good week against a Matthew Stafford. So this is going to be exciting to see. So I do think the score is going to be 24-13 Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts to win this week. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you think is going to win? Give me your score predictions. I do got the Colts winning. This is no shade to the Rams fans. Hopefully you guys figure it out very soon. But, like I said, they're just not in a good direction right now. But hopefully they can figure it out moving forward. But I do think this is going to be another slow week for them. So I do have the Colts winning this game. Again, 24-13. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections. And I will see you guys soon. This is Marcus. And until next time, you've been Culture Shock.